Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I just started this thing a few weeks ago, and this is a completely new experience for me. I have been a long-time watcher of YouTube, and I have never even considered possibly starting my channel. I never really thought, even though I do like a lot of stuff, that I had something interesting enough to like really share with the world. But now I'm realizing that, I'm someone like a lot of people that was overweight or obese, or at times morbidly obese. And, a lot of people struggle with their weight. People go up, they go down. And over the last 5 years or so, 8 years maybe even, if I really want to take it far back, like I have struggled and I've gone up and I've gone down 3 times in big ways. And this time I have just, a spark is lit in me, unlike anything that has ever happened to me before. I keep telling people, like, I feel like I've been unplugged from the Matrix. Like, I love movies so much, music. I'm a musician, I'm an artist. I do a lot of like pop culture type stuff. In my past life a little bit, like I used to design stuff kind of like this, like the Incredible Hulk Hogan here. I just love like puns, and like I'm a kid that was born in 1989. I grew up through the 90s. I love wrestling so much. The Attitude Era, WWF, before it was WWE, was like a huge part of my life, and still kind of is. I go back and rewatch stuff all the time. The reason I bring that up is because I'm going to talk about a couple of things that happened to me over the last few days, and in particular today. And I would just want to give you guys context about like who I am and why you should spend your time or not spend your time watching my channel. I know that there are thousands, if not more, channels out there dedicated to barbecue. There are tons of people out there, like Chud's Barbecue is one of my favorite channels in the world. The dude can cook unbelievable stuff, and he's really good at explaining what he's doing. That's how I learned a lot of my stuff. I used to work a pretty dead-end job, like at a screen printing place, but I worked from home, and luckily I had my work computer and I had my personal computer, and while I was doing my work, I would kind of just, instead of like a podcast, I would have YouTube on, and I learned how to make briskets and ribs and all of these different things from like Meat Church and all these other channels. And I took like, what worked for them, and sometimes like what didn't work for them has kept me out of like making my own mistakes, but I've made a lot of mistakes myself. I think that's how you grow and you learn, if you're being honest. And I know that that's going to happen with this channel. Like, I know every video in the beginning is not perfect. Right now, I started this thing a couple weeks ago. I'm probably talking to about 40 of you guys. One of them is my mom, but I know in the future, there's a chance that I might be talking to more people. And at the end of the day, I lost 100 pounds over the last 8 years, 75 of which currently I lost in the last 5 months. So if that's a story that you are interested in hearing, I would love to tell you about it. Every single person that talks to me that knows that I'm passionate about barbecue, this channel is called Fitness BBQ In My Mouth, because like, yeah, I'm into fitness barbecue in my mouth. It's like a running joke with pizza all the time. I couldn't believe it wasn't taken for barbecue. I said, I'm going to take it because I love that joke. I think it's stupid, but I like it. And anyway, it kind of goes with my lifestyle now. I eat a ton of barbecue. I smoke meat all of the time. Every single week, I meal prep. I meal plan, more importantly, with my wife. So that way we keep our grocery budget down. And we also aren't just like, we have a 1.5-year-old kid. He just hit the 18-month mark. I'm sure I'll introduce him at some point on this channel. But like, he's the thing that like catapulted me into doing this. And again, I might ramble for a second here, but just kind of go with me. I'm trying to introduce myself a little bit. So long story short, 8 years ago, when I met my wife, I was at my heaviest point in my life, 275 pounds the day that I met her. The way that I know that is my dad had passed away earlier that year. My dad was a very, very important person in my life. Most of my core memories, which again, I'm going to tie back into like wrestling and movies and all this different stuff, were going to the movies with him, going to concerts, and most importantly, he took me to a lot of wrestling. I lived 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a huge wrestling city. ECW is here, but I was way too young for it at the time. Luckily, I had a friend whose parents didn't really care what we watched, and we watched a lot of it at an age that we probably shouldn't have been. But that, again, I think is why one of my heroes is my ultimate hero, and why I'm wearing the shirt that I'm wearing right now. So I have on my like Cactus Jack shirt. The mentality that I've developed over the last few months, Mick Foley is like a gigantic hero of mine. And Mick, if you ever see this video, just know that you are like one of the most important people, I think, in the world. What you do for however many organizations you do it for, unbelievable. Your Santa Claus stuff, incredible. You're someone that more people should know about. If they don't, if more people write you off as just a wrestler, like you're so much more than that. You're such an incredible person. One time, my friend Eli, my incredible musician, shameless plug, if you don't know the band Dopapod or Octave Cat, check out his music. This dude is unreal. And he's also one of my best friends because he's really into mindfulness and like bettering yourself. He's one of those people that really pushes you. And I really wanted to talk about him for a second because I love you to death, Eli, and I want you to know that like you've inspired me a lot. So I want people to follow you and your stuff too. But so anyway, back to the Mick Foley thing. Eli got me a cameo for my birthday a couple years ago from Mick. Now, the reason why that's important, I know he's like one of the most popular people on Cameo, but a couple of weeks before he got me this thing, I had started drawing pictures because I'm a graphic designer. I showed you guys the sticker. I drew pictures of Mick as Mickey Mouse, and he commented on a few and he shared a few. I don't know if it was like actually him or like a social media team or what happened, but it was really cool to me that like he shared that stuff and like reached out in a private message and said like, hey man, I really like this. Like maybe we'll do some shirts or something. And of course that didn't happen, but that's fine. Because again, I don't even know if I was talking to like the guy or not, but it doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is that my friend knew that I had an interest in something. And he was like, instead of like making fun of him for it, let's lean into it and like get him a video from the guy. And in the video, the guy was like, hey, I actually remember you. I've seen your pictures. They're really cool. People have brought them to me at wrestling conventions and I've signed them for them. And that made me go like, wow, maybe I was talking to the guy. Like, that's really cool. So like, again, Mick, if you ever see this video, just know that like you've had a giant impact on my life. So when I started, I'm trying to figure out like where to even go with all of this. I guess the place that I'm trying to go with the Mick Foley part of this is that 2 or 3 things happened to me today that blew my mind in a way that like, I don't even know what the odds are on this. So when my dad passed away, and again, the reason why I love wrestling with my dad is he was, if you're a wrestling fan, and I know I'm rambling again, but if you're a wrestling fan, he was the doctor of Gorilla Monsoon. That name might mean something to you, it might not, but like he means a lot to a lot of wrestlers for sure. And because of that, he lived in New Jersey and my dad was his cardiologist for at least a portion of his later years in life. And my dad would get like signed merch and stuff and they would give it to my brother because my brother was younger. I don't even know if I was alive at this point, but wrestling was a really big deal in my house. Like growing up, like we would watch it all the time. And like I said, like I had a friend that would, show me like wrestling that I shouldn't be watching. And through that, I found WWF and I found Mankind and Cactus Jack. And when I found Cactus Jack, something just clicked for me. I go, oh, wait a minute. This is that same guy that was in that ECW video. Like, and that's kind of cool. And why is this same guy 3 different characters? Like, that's kind of cool. Like the 1998 Royal Rumble, this dude wrestled 3 times. Like, I don't think anybody's ever done that before. And like, I know all of it's scripted and I'm not like an idiot or anything, but at the same time, lean into it. If it's fun, it's fun. So this guy is really impressive at what he does. He's very captivating. If you watch any of his promos, they'll hook you instantly. You can tell there's something different about that guy. And I could tell from when I was like 6 or 7 years old, watching him land on thumbtacks and be like the bloodiest dude in the world at a time before anybody did that kind of stuff. It was really cool. So like he made a really big impact on me. Again, like that's why so much of this video is dedicated to talking about him, because here's where we get to. My dad's favorite band was Creedence Clearwater Revival. He loved them to death. My family, if you want to believe in ghosts or spirits or mediums, whatever, I'm an Italian guy from New Jersey. I grew up Catholic, although I'm not very religious anymore. I think I might lean more towards like Buddhism lately. I've been really into like Zen stuff. I've always believed in karma, and I'm a big believer in reincarnation. I think sometimes we can get real crazy. I think like deja vu and all these things might all be kind of interconnected. And sometimes I think that the universe kind of tries to tell you something. And sometimes we don't listen to it. And sometimes we do. And those times where we do, we start to like you kind of tune into things and you go, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, how did that just happen? So anyway, I've had a lot of big things happening. Like I said, over the last 5 months, I've lost 75 pounds. And to, again, just really quickly recap my story here. When I met my wife a few months after my dad passed away, I had eaten myself up to 275 pounds. I stepped on the scale for the first time in years. And I was like, wow, okay, that's a number. That's burned in your brain now. It's not going to go anywhere. And that's okay, because you don't really care about your life right now. Like, I'm dealing with like real deep, dark depression of my dad passing away. So I ate a lot, and it wasn't a surprise that number was the number that it was, because I was wearing like 2X or 3X shirts all the time. I was wearing size 40 pants back then. That was just like normal. And I would just like eat bad stuff, sandwiches, and drink so much soda and beer all of the time. Just like drinking away probably, your daily limit in calories, and then eating double that, and never exercising, like minimal walking at best. And water was only in the ice that melted from my sodas. If I'm being honest, like that was my life. And so many people that I know live their life like that. And like, it's okay. I'm not downplaying that happens. I'm not saying that you should all fix every single thing, but like secretly I was depressed a lot. I absolutely hated how often I like told myself this lie. Again, I'm a guy from New Jersey, that I hated the beach. I lied so much to myself over my life, saying that I hated the beach, when I really just hated taking my shirt off in public. I love the beach. I'm like a seal when I jump in the water. When I actually have the confidence to take my shirt off, I absolutely love it. So that's like one thing that I had to come to terms with. And I've made a few videos already that I've posted. And like the number one thing I think in one of those videos that I said was, stop lying to yourself. That was like a really big deal for me. The only way that this kind of change happens, I believe, is when you actually hit rock bottom. Now, like, I don't know how to get to rock bottom. There's never a great place that you're at when you're there. It sucks. And there's only two roads to go. You either accept it and you say, this is life and this is terrible and I'm never going to fix it. Or you do whatever you can to make sure that you never get that low ever again. And that's kind of luckily the route that I took this time. So again, I've been trying to get to this point for like the last 12 and a half minutes, but really quickly, my timeline. 8 years ago, I met my wife. I was 275 pounds. My brother was getting married later that year, so like 1 year almost exactly later. So I said to myself, I'm going to diet and see what I can do. The day of his wedding, I was 222 pounds. 3 months after that, my wife, current wife, who I was dating at the time, were going to go on Jam Cruise. It's a music festival on a cruise ship. We stopped in Mexico and the Caribbean. And I said to myself, you really like this girl. You've only been dating her for about a year, maybe a year and a half. And I don't want to be embarrassed when we're on the beach. Get after it and lose the weight. I set a goal for myself that said, make the scale start with a 1, not a 2. And the day before we went on vacation, it said 199. I couldn't believe it. Like, I actually did it. I was like, wow. But we got on the boat and I drank my face off and I ate whatever I wanted to. Came back, I was like 206. And I said, you know what? I'll work that off. It's fine. We got it done. But the problem with weight loss, when you set goals that have like a very finite end to them, it's all too easy to just stop doing what you're doing. So like, again, a lot of people, and why I've started sharing my story more and more lately, is I put weight back on a lot. So later, maybe a year later, we hit COVID and I drank a lot and I ate a lot because I got laid off. And that was where I honestly fell in love with smoking meat. I got my first smoker during COVID. I didn't know what else to do. I said, I got a lot of time. Let's get a smoker for the backyard and learn how to do this. I watched a lot of YouTube. I read Franklin barbecue books, did all the things. Messed up a lot of stuff, but also made some good stuff, and it encouraged me to keep going. And it's been 6 years now since I've been doing this, and it's been really, really fun. So anyway, after later that year, I proposed to my wife, very heavy. I was probably 250 pounds. And then we went on a vacation to see her best friend in Asheville, North Carolina on New Year's. And for New Year's Day, we drove home, a little hungover, honestly, but when I got back, I stepped on the scale and I said, okay, you're 240 pounds. You're getting married on September 3rd. And today is January 1st. So you have exactly 9 months. See what you can do. You've lost more weight than it would take to start the scale with a 1 again. So let's do it. And I did that. By April, I had got back down to 206. Then I kind of like wish-washed a little bit throughout the summer. And then I got real serious again in like June, July, August, because September was right around the corner. And I dropped down to 187 pounds on the day of my wedding. I felt amazing. I thought I looked really good in my suit, but more importantly, I felt like I had confidence. I had enough confidence to stand in front of, I think it was 60 or 70 people that were at our wedding, and it was all my best friends and her best friends and our family. But I've played a lot of music and I've played in front of a lot of people, and now I guess I'm talking to a lot of people, although I'm just talking to my phone right now. But, I'm not someone that likes public speaking at all. I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not the singer in my band. I play keyboards mostly, sometimes guitar, but I very rarely sing, and I absolutely hate talking between songs, But I need to come out of my comfort zone a little bit more, arguably, and I need to get comfortable with this stuff, because part of trying to inspire people is you got to talk. You can't just keep all this stuff bottled up. And my favorite YouTube channels, again, always show you the behind the scenes stuff. There are people that are really, really good at talking to the camera directly. And, I'm trying to work on that stuff. Hit the like and subscribe buttons, all that kind of stuff, Help me help grow this channel. Because at the end of the day, the whole reason that I'm doing all this stuff is, like I said, December 1st, I started posting about it, and a lot of people reached out through mostly private messages and text messages. Not everybody's going to comment, but a lot of people reached out in secret that said, hey man, you're really inspiring me. Your story's cool. I went to the gym for the first time. I went for a run. I went to a yoga class. It's happened almost daily now, and it's gotten to a point where I think maybe there's something else bigger on the horizon here, but I'm not really quite sure what that is. So I've been trying to tune into the universe, again, why I'm making this video. So I've been listening and trying to figure it all out. And one of the things that I've done, a lot of people ask, what's your secret? There's a million secrets, and I keep trying to make videos about them. And I probably will keep making videos because, again, there are millions of secrets. Just keep showing up is a big secret. Drink more water. We could all drink more water. Eat better food. Our food system, unfortunately, is so fucking corrupted and so filled with poison that it is so almost impossible to buy any ingredients that don't have something bad in them. It's criminal what the hell food companies do to us. I love McDonald's. Don't get me wrong. They're great. And I'm sure they started with the best of intentions. But I used to work at a screen printing shop. And on my screen printing press sat a double cheeseburger that sat there for at least 3 years. I'm not fucking joking. 3 years this thing sat there. No mold on it. Just dust. Never stopped me once from going and getting a double cheeseburger. Ever. I ate hundreds of them while I worked there. And I looked at this thing every day. Why do we do that? It's crazy. That's the biggest secret. Stop eating garbage. Eat real food. I'm not saying buy everything organic. I'm not saying go to Whole Foods and buy the most expensive shit you can buy. Buy fruit. Buy vegetables. Buy protein. Buy meats. Whatever it is that you happen to like. Because that's the other secret. Don't listen to this diet will make you lose 100 million pounds. None of those work. What works is you find what you like, what got you into the situation that got you passionately heavy, and what's going to get you passionately unheavy. Eating those same things, but do it in a healthier way. That's how I did it. And that is the mission statement, I guess, of this channel. Teach people, because I love barbecue and Italian food and ice cream sundaes and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and cheeseburgers, all of the things that I love. I'm going to teach you guys how I make them, because I have not stopped eating one bit of them. I eat a ton of arguably bad foods, but I eat them in very healthy ways. I ditched the bread. I ditched mostly the deep frying process. I stopped eating potatoes largely because I realized that I really enjoy them the most when they're French fries, and I just can't do that to myself anymore. So I just said, you know what? We're done with that. Pizza used to be a giant thing in my life. It's not anymore. I gave it up for 2 or 3 months, and then I tried it again. I was a complete glutton, and the next day I felt so sick to my stomach, like I couldn't even handle it, and I said, never again. But I'm sure I'll have pizza again. Right now, I don't want it though, because I understand that my body functions better when I eat in a healthy way. So like at the end of the day, the things that matter, if there's anything that I'm going to say in this video, it doesn't matter about the things that, clicked for me today. But the things that mattered the most in the long term are just prioritize your health. It sounds stupid, but it's not. Eat good food. Drink clean water if you have access to it, which most of us luckily do in the US at least. And in Europe and all these other places, they have food systems that have such cleaner ingredients than we do. You are going to struggle to find good stuff. I will show you the things that I buy. One of my goals is to do weekly updates on my shopping list. To show you guys what the budget that I spend each week to feed me, my wife, and my kid. And also to show you guys that shopping the outside of the grocery store is probably the best move, because that's where most of the time the fresh stuff is. You want to avoid all the shelf-stable processed stuff because it's filled with chemicals and things that make it shelf-stable. Food should spoil at the end of the day. If you've ever been to a farmer's market and you've over-purchased on produce because you said, oh my God, all these things look delicious. And then you go, well, now I just wasted $45 worth of produce because I couldn't possibly eat all of this in 4 days. You understand what I'm saying. Don't overbuy, but make a plan so that you're not eating the same exact thing every single day, but that you also eat good stuff, because things that sit on your shelf, like Oreos and pretzels, are terrible for you. And I don't care how many people want to argue with me in the comment section about diet soda. It's fucking terrible for you. Might not have calories. It's full of chemicals. I don't care what they are, how many studies you want to show me. That shit will keep you fat. Guaranteed. Every single protein bar that is masked as a cookie candy bar thing, don't eat those. Put protein powder with minimal ingredients into some yogurt or some chocolate or whatever the hell it is. Make the treats that you're supposed to be eating. No one has ever eaten more Reese's products than me. In my life, you could have hit me and I would pop open like a piñata and Reese's Pieces and Fast Breaks would have fallen out of me. I loved that shit. I would go to the grocery store and you couldn't stop me from the checkout counter grabbing a candy bar for years. But at the end of the day, when I started eating organic peanut butter, and in particular, the peanut butter that I make myself, which again, shameless plug, there's a YouTube video about how I do it. It's 2 ingredients. It's peanuts and salt, and you throw them into a food processor and you blend that shit up for a few minutes, and then you put it into a jar in your refrigerator upside down, which happens to be the trick. I'm not exactly sure of the science of why it works, but it prevents the oil separation entirely, and you're going to be left with the most delicious peanut butter you've ever had in your life. 2 ingredients, maybe 4 minutes. You get a bag of peanuts. It's so much cheaper than buying jar after jar after jar. But we don't know about that. No one talks to us about that. They just say, moms like us choose Jif and all that shit that's filled with vegetable oil and all these other chemical agents that are made with petroleum products. What the fuck? We could do better. We should do better for ourselves, and absolutely we should do better for our children. So when I had my son, again, not to be rambling, and now this video is getting a little long, but it's my therapy. So if you're watching, thank you, honestly. And if you're not, whatever. This is more just kind of me rambling to my former self or future self, whatever. But when we had my kid, I said to myself, I'm going to do whatever I can do to make sure that he never lives the hell that I lived my entire life. Like I said in a few other videos, when I was 9 years old, I started putting on weight. I carried that weight until I was 36 years old. There were 2 moments where I went up and down for my brother's wedding and my own, which I've gone over. But long and short of it, I've been obese my entire life. And I've secretly lived with depression from the time when I was in 4th grade until this year. I'm still 36. I'll be 37 in a couple of months. But I don't want my kid to know that the depression and the ridicule of being the fat guy and having to turn it into, oh, he just is a jokester and plays it off. Shit still hurts sometimes. You get bullied. It happens. I get it. I'm sure I'm going to get shit on the YouTube channel, and it's fine, because at this point, I actually have confidence in what I'm doing and I don't really care anymore. Back then I didn't, but that's okay. the thing that I now know is that moving forward, what I would like to teach my son, the values that I want to pass on to him, is that like when you eat well and you drink real water and stuff, you feel good. And when you feel good, that starts to get into the rest of your systems. And when you feel good and you prioritize feeling good, your brain starts to say like, oh man, opportunities open up that are just like non-existent to someone that is living with their head down and with blinders on. I did it for 3/4 of my life. I know what I'm talking about. I might not be a therapist. I get that. And I'm not trying to give you guys therapy at all. Do not sue me. This isn't therapy. I'm not a therapist. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you guys what I would tell my therapist if I were telling them this. If you don't have to live with depression, don't. It sucks. You can change your situations. And seriously, I heard this shit on Joe Rogan more than I could ever possibly tell you. If you could bottle up the energy that you get and the feeling that you get from exercise into a pill, it would be the #1 selling drug in the world. I would listen to this man say this. I love a lot of the same things that he loves. I'm deeply into like Egyptian stuff and like past civilizations that may or may not have existed. Graham Hancock, love you to death. I'm a huge fan of comedy. Austin is one of my favorite cities in the world. I went there on my bachelor party, saw Tony Hinchcliffe. I love Kill Tony. Like, just so you guys know more about who I am, these are my passions. But at the end of the day, the thing that he says is so true. I just never believed it because I never did it long enough. Consistency gives you that feeling. That might be the only thing that he never tells you. Because I think he started, like a lot of people, fortunately, from a place where you didn't have to overcome being like a fat guy. When you're trying to lose weight and you're super overweight and you go to the gym and your trainer is some guy who's fucking ripped and he's never been fat a day in his life, he could tell you exactly what works, and he might be, but you don't believe it. Like, you don't hear it, or you do, and it's just like in one ear out the other. That was always my experiences. But now I've done it 3 times. I know it works. I know exactly what works. And I want to share with you guys what that is. It's changing your mentality. Like, that alone is the secret. Motivation is great. And motivation comes and goes throughout your life in big ways sometimes. But consistency is the thing that moves the needle. Consistency is the thing that will absolutely change your life. And if you just show up and you do whatever that thing is that you want to do, whether it's learn an instrument or pick up a new language or lose a bunch of weight or learn how to cook, if you do it a little bit every single day, I promise you that as you zoom out on your life, over time, you will invest more time into that thing, which will only make you better at it. It will make you laser focused at it, and you will become one of the best people at it. Like, I'm speaking from experience from being a musician and an artist. I know firsthand that the amount of time that I've put in over my life to learn how to play piano and guitar and draw stuff, I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't put in those hours practicing. People talk about 10,000 hours. Think about your life with weight now. 10,000 hours it's going to take at least before you feel confident that you're going to make the right choice without saying, I'll just pick up the fucking thing of Oreos again. I used to have to leave Post-it notes on our Oreos for my wife saying, these are for her, so that I would stop myself from eating the entire family sleeve of them. That's not a joke. I did it more times than I care to admit. But at the end of the day, this is where I'm going to leave you guys and hopefully keep this thing under 30 minutes. The 3 things that happened in a row. Like I said, my dad's super into Creedence Clearwater. Over our lives, we've been to a medium 1 time maybe, and that blew me away. I don't know what that is about. I know sometimes they're like tricksters, but like this lady seemed really in tune. She told us a lot of shit where you were like, how could you know that? That's crazy. It's still something to this day that I think about. It blows me away. And that's what makes me think like maybe there are other dimensions, or like maybe there is something to ghosts, or like maybe there is something to like when you're listening to the radio and you're thinking about someone and then like a song that you associate with that person comes on. Because as I was thinking about my life, my dad, who passed away in February 17, 2017 to be exact. So it's coming up. The anniversary's coming up. I'm thinking about him a lot lately, and I've been changing my life a lot lately, and I'm going to really try my best to like get through this whole thing without getting emotional, because I've been getting emotional a lot lately. And that's fine too. I'm processing his death still 9 years later. I know that. But I was thinking about him a lot because he wrote me the very last Christmas card he wrote, because he passed away in February, so it was very recently to that and before my last birthday, before my birthday. He wrote me a message that said, you know, I'm so proud of you, and one day you're going to find your way. At the time, I had done a lot of different things. I worked as a music teacher for a long time. Then I got hooked up with my favorite band, and I worked on the road setting up lights for them. And then after that kind of like had fizzled out, I moved to Colorado with my friends, and I was working at a golf course, which was my first introductory time to cooking. And I loved that job. It was awesome. I was about to start that job again until my brother called me and said, hey, dude, Dad's really sick right now. You need to like fly home. And that flying home turned into me staying at home for a month, where he was in the ICU, and he unfortunately never made it out. I watched my dad die with my mom. It was one of the most terrible things I've ever seen happen in my life. It's absolutely the lowest point in my life. I miss him terribly. Every single day I think about him. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But I know that like if you believe in spirits and stuff like that, he's my guardian angel, big time. And he's been trying his best, and I'm sorry it took me 9 years, Dad, but he's been trying his best to like help me find my way. And the whole time I just kept doing the one thing that was preventing me from doing it. I was not dealing with his death, and I was eating away my feelings. There were times, like I said, where I got motivated for a cause, but like it never fixed the root problem. That's why I always messed up and went back. So August of this year, I went on a vacation with my family, my wife and my son and her whole family, to the beach. And I saw my kids' joy on the beach. Like it killed me. Like again, accepting that like you lie to yourself more than you do. Like I had to say like, hey man, you got to be okay with going to the beach now. You're from New Jersey. Take him to the beach. He loves it. Take your shirt off. If that's all it takes, just lose the weight. You can do it. So I set a goal. I'm going to go home and I'm going to weigh myself and see where I'm at. I had been trying to diet for 2 months before that, and I yo-yoed a lot in those 2 months. But I was pretty serious about like starting it and getting after it this time. When I left for vacation at the start of the week, I was 238 pounds. When I got home from the vacation, I was 250.6 pounds. Like water weight, I don't know, dude. Like that's like a legit sigh. Water weight, I don't know. Was it cupcakes, donuts, burgers? Was it the buns that I had started eating? How does my body put on that kind of weight in 1 week? I don't know. But it did it all the time. I could also lose it pretty quickly. If I get really after it, I could lose 10 pounds like that. But you know, like that's what it took to really spark the drive that turned, again, motivation into consistency. I said to myself the next day, I have this running joke in my family, the diet starts Monday. And like luckily August 17th was a Monday. So I said, diet starts Monday. And I believed it this time though. And I changed my goals. Like I said, the first 2 times I had little like end game goals. I said, by this date, I want to reach this weight. My new goal is to stay healthy until the day that I die. There's no end to that until I die. So there's no way that I will ever put this weight back on ever again. Ever, ever, ever. I'm 172 pounds right now. I might go up a little bit. I might go down a little bit. I have a little bit of loose skin that I'm still trying to work off. I don't really think it's too much fat anymore. It might be. I'm trying to work on building some muscle, like a little bit more now. But as a big guy, my entire life that wore huge clothes, I have no aspirations of being a bodybuilder at all. I want, if anything, to be like a lean kind of swimmer kind of body. But all this being said, I just really, really, really want you guys to start to like know who I am and why I'm doing this. So again, for the last time, the things that happened to me that I can't seem to get to because I keep just trying to explain myself, that made me say, keep telling your story, man. Stuff is happening for a reason. I left the supermarket today thinking about what kind of video I wanted to post tonight, and the very first song that happened to play was Center Field by John Fogerty. He's the singer of Creedence Clearwater. I was thinking about my dad the entire time that I was in the supermarket, and coincidentally, the first piece of music that I heard when I got in the car was a piece by not the band, but by the guy he wrote all the music. Like, so essentially, it was Creedence. Like, it was my dad saying, hey, Rob, like, you're good. Trust your gut. Do the thing that you want to do, and you'll be fine. So I got home, and I said to myself, go for a run and, like, think about stuff, and also, you know, just like go on Instagram for a second, because I don't know why I can't stop doing that. But the very first thing that popped up on Instagram today, after I had spent all morning making a video about how I lost 100 pounds, and I sat there thinking, like, do I have the balls to post this thing? I don't know. You know, I've seen 1,000 of these videos at least out there, and I'm always so inspired by them, but like, this is mine. Like, are these pictures right? Like, is the story right? Did I edit it right? Like, I don't care if it goes viral or if 4 people watch it. I really don't. But at the end of the day, I hope that it kind of like reaches some people, because I think that my story is very similar, like I've said a bunch of times, to other people. And like, all I want is for you to know that 5 months ago, I was 250 pounds. This morning, I was 172. That shit's possible. I did it without any medicine. I did it without any surgery. I just changed what's going on up in here. And I said to myself, if your son is really the most important thing in your life, if that's what you tell people and you actually believe that, and I do, then do it for him. Show up for him, and make sure that, because your dad's not here, I've tried to pick up the phone more times than I would like to admit, to call him and ask for advice or check about like the validity of a story or whatever. And I just can't, and that sucks. But you can't change the past. You can build a better future. That's like something I made a little short about. The reason that I made that was because I truly believe that. I'm building a better future right now by prioritizing my health. Hopefully one in which I'm at not only my son's wedding, because my dad wasn't at mine, but I'm at his kid's wedding one day. You know, I would love to be that old grandpa that's like dancing and is like the fun guy that everyone thinks is like, oh man, look at that guy. That would be amazing. And I think that with medical science and like actually taking care of yourself, that kind of stuff is not impossible. It's actually very possible, because I believe that. I've changed my life. I have lost so much weight that knee and back pain that bothered me and ankle pain for years that I thought was completely irreversible is actually gone. That's not a joke. I don't take like a bunch of like ibuprofen or anything. I just wake up without pain now. And I realize it's because I don't have 100 pounds on my joints. The other day at the gym, I was with my friend who I'm trying to motivate currently, because he was exactly the same weight that I was. So I'm like, hey man, I know where you're at, and I did it. You might not do it as fast as I did. I went full psycho on myself. I run a lot. Like, I have the time. I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I make a lot of barbecue. Things that like have a lot of free time. I get that. But I also have been very committed to a goal, and I have not been able to be unfocused from that goal. So that's like the important message here. Find what you like to do and do it. Find the food that you like to eat and eat it in a healthier way. Don't like settle for bullshit ingredients being put in your stuff. If you don't know how to make it, figure it out. There are so many videos. Hopefully some of mine will help you. But there are so many other resources out there. We live in an incredible day and age where you don't have to live burdened with depression because, you know, the food industry is pumping you full of shit so that you end up on chemical like pills that the big pharma is trying to fucking push down your throat and just make more money off you. No one cares about you. At the end of the day, we're all just like money in a spreadsheet, you know? But don't do that. Get out of it. Escape from the matrix. Pull yourself out of the hole that you have dug yourself into by just listening to everybody and accepting that the status quo is what it is. If there's anything that in this extraordinarily long rant that I have done here that breaks through to you guys, the steps to get out of this stuff is easy. Just do it. Nike hit it the fuck out of the park with that one. Just do it. Show up every day. No one cares about your excuses. Trust me. Like, yourself included. You're going to make a lot of excuses. You're going to say it's hard, it's cold out, it's early. I wake up at 3:30 in the morning because I have to, because that allows me the time that I need personally at this current stage of my weight loss journey to do the amount of exercise that I enjoy doing. Not like that I'm required to do. I love it. It's my meditation now. I watch movies because I'm a freaking dad, and I don't have time to watch like wrestling and all this stuff in front of him. It's dangerous for an 18-month-old to watch Mick Foley get smacked in the head with a chair. But I love that shit. So I'm going to watch it. So I'm going to wake up early and make sure that I give myself the time to watch it. And when I started to accept that, the gym went from a place that was like a burden to go to because it's in my home, and it became a place that I look forward to going to. And as the time has gone on here, I've really like made the space my own. I've kind of turned it into a man cave. I've put cool posters that I like on the walls up again. And I like put all my toys and stuff that I've kept from being a kid because I'm just a big nerd at the end of the day. You know, and I know that I've, again, gotten really long and winded here, but like the last message that I want to say to you guys about the 3 things that happened, tying it all back to like Mick Foley here. Maybe this is an hour-long video. I have no idea. I was standing in my kitchen and I opened Instagram earlier. Mick Foley posted today, the same day that I posted that I lost 100 pounds, that he lost 100 pounds. I told you guys earlier in the video, the cameos, all of the things, how many times I went with my dad to watch wrestling in Philly at the Spectrum or the Wachovia Center, or whatever the fuck it's called now. But like, I watched this man and I didn't know at the time why he was so important to me, but he really was. And he's super inspirational, like I've said. And he posted today, of all days, the same day that I posted my story, that I lost 100 pounds, that he lost 100 pounds. That's kind of cool, I think. Maybe it's not. I don't know, but I think it is. Now, here's where it's get crazier. I have a giant playlist of music that I listen to on Spotify that I've created, that I work out to like every day. I watch stuff on YouTube. I throw the volume on mute, and I throw subtitles on because I run, like I said, incredibly early in the morning. The room that I run in is next to my son's room, and I could never have television or music playing at 4 a.m. while he's sleeping. So I do that, but I find that it's very hard to sync my TV to the audio. I haven't found a good way. Maybe one of you guys could tell me in the comments if you've made it this far, how to do that, but I don't know how. So I just listen to music, and it pumps me up, and I like to like run to stuff that has a good beat. And anyway, all that being said, I keep adding to this playlist, keep adding. And currently it's up to 232 songs. I hit shuffle on that thing, and the very first song that played after I shared Mick Foley's story that like one of my biggest idols in life, and I accomplished the same goal on the same day. That's cool to me. The very first song out of 232 songs on shuffle that played, mind you, there are 2 wrestling theme songs, because like not many are great, but like some are. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mick Foley's fucking like the car crash theme that I absolutely love. I couldn't find Cactus Jack's music. That's honestly my favorite like wrestling theme of all time. I just couldn't find it to add it to the playlist. So those 2 exist. Mick Foley's song played first. How? 232 songs? Are you kidding me? Like, I know it's like 1 in 232, but like right after I shared the thing, right after we did the same thing, right after like my friend had gotten me the cameo in which he had talked to me directly, telling me things of support that at a time where I wasn't sure what to do in my life, maybe he could have like encouraged me, you know, like the amount of signs that started clicking for me in that second, I was like, wow, man, like maybe my dad's trying to tell me something. Like from being a little kid, like this guy is inspirational because he's the out of shape wrestler. He's the guy that kids just like me that were out of shape looked to and said, hey, his mental toughness is why he's like the champ at times, why he's the best. He's not the guy with the great physique. He's not Triple H or The Rock or Stone Cold or any of those things, but he was just as popular, and he was the weird guy. He's the guy that I've identified with my entire life. So all of these things coming together today made me go, holy shit, dude. Life is pretty wild, and you sometimes tune into things, and sometimes like the world just won't stop showing you stuff. So I would love to right now continue this video, but it'll become an hour if I keep going. But I would love to tell you guys what is on the horizon. Just know there are really, really big things coming from me. In the next couple weeks, I'm going to announce them. February 17th will be that date because The significance is it's my dad's 9-year anniversary of his death. It also, coincidentally, will be the full 6 months of me doing my weight loss journey starting on August 17th. So I think that's pretty cool. Again, like numerology and stuff I think is interesting, and like why the same date, like that's crazy. But yeah, so I'm going to announce like a really, really big life change on February 17th. And I hope that I'm going to start posting a lot more here, guys. So I want you guys to just know who I am. Reach out to me. I'm a real person. Send in the comments, like, how did you do it? I'll answer every single time, as long as I can, at least. But if you're watching now and you're one of the 50 people that already are subscribed to me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Share these videos. I hope that they help someone. Maybe don't share this one. It's really long. But, you know, share like the ones that you get something really important out of. Because at the end of the day, that's why I'm making them. I found so much inspiration on social media. And there were times in my life, just like everybody, that I've doom scrolled for way too long. There have been times, for sure, that I've watched, you know, people get into fights at gas stations for too long and just dumb stuff. But now my Instagram is just filled with like motivational stuff, coaching, nutrition, barbecue, all of these different things that are positive. And when you start putting good stuff in your body, which is what I learned when I started eating real food and drinking actually good water, and not soda and beer, which is what I mean by the water thing. When you start to put good stuff in, good stuff comes out. Like, it's simple. These are all simple things. It's just like some people work at different speeds. We're all running the same race. Everyone gets there at different times. I feel like it took me 36 years to open my eyes to this kind of stuff. And I hope that if you've struggled and you're younger than me, that I can prevent you from struggling. And if you're older than me, maybe I'm going to shed some wisdom on you that like you just haven't learned yet. And maybe I'm saying stuff that you've already known and you're going to be like, damn, dude, I'm glad you figured it out, because that's the trick. But, you know, again, I know this is a really long video. Most people won't watch it. I watch a lot of golf videos that are over an hour, so I know it's probably in the realm of okay, but I think that life is very interesting. And, you know, why are we on this planet is something I ask myself all the time. I never knew what my purpose was. I thought, like, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, I'm a cook, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a brother, I'm a son. I think my purpose now is to have gone through something that a lot of people go through. But I had the mental toughness to figure out how the hell to get out of it. And now I want to tell people how to do it. So, again, 2026, I started this channel. December, I started posting on Instagram. January, I opened the YouTube. Yesterday, I will say this. I bought the domain fitnessbarbecueinmymouth.com. I'm going to start posting a lot of this stuff there. Like I said, I've been a graphic designer and a screen printer for most of my life. I'm going to make merch. It's part of who I am. I'm going to have a store. Hopefully, I'm going to share a lot of these recipes. Eventually, those recipes might turn into a cookbook, might be an ebook, whatever form it exists in. I have a lot of information that worked for me. I want to get it out to you guys. You're asking me for it. You deserve to have it. Like, I'm not gatekeeping anything. I learned it from somewhere. And some stuff I've made up along the way because I just have a palate that's maybe more unique than some other people's. I like a lot of different cuisines, and I try a lot of stuff. That's one of the benefits of being a cook. Like, I love cooking. So at the end of the day, again, if you've made it this far, and I've probably said that too many times, but if you've made it this far, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow along with my journey. I hope to get you shredded if that's your goal. I hope to make you lose 10 pounds if that's your goal. I hope to make your barbecue a hair better, or maybe you'll just laugh at me and go, this kid doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. But I think I might. Anyway, have a good one, guys. And in the words of my favorite person in the world, Mick Foley, have a nice day.